Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge. Today we're following in the footsteps of the F1 fraternity and we'll be fighting it out around the historic Imola Grand Prix circuit in northern Italy. It's a relatively narrow stop-start sort of a track for the Formula Renault 2.0s, where being able to carry maximum speed through the mid-corner helps smooth out the kinks. And talking of smooth kinks, here's your commentators for today's action, Chris Stevens and Chris Catman Turner.
Round 2 of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge comes from the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari, otherwise known as Imola. And tonight we go racing on all 17 turns of 4.9 kilometers of its high-speed layout as we continue Season 2 of this great championship. My name is Chris Stevens, and I'll be your lead commentator this evening. And as always, joining me is Chris Catman Turner. Chris, are you excited to be racing at Imola?
I am, and the 5th of November may have passed, but I'm really hoping for some fireworks this evening. It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. Well, if the first race at Nürburgring was anything to go by, then certainly we should be in for a great night of racing. Just a reminder of how we're going to go racing tonight. 3 races as per the normal. 1 feature race that'll be worth 60 points for the race win, and then 2 reverse grid races where the top 20 is reversed, and those are worth 50 points each for the win. Going into this, we have Danny Henney at the head of the championship, and he had a really great battle with Alexander Dobertsberger in the first race of the Nürburgring. Was that your highlight of the evening, Chris?
That first race was pretty amazing, and it just showed the pressure these guys are under when Danny made that mistake and let Alex past. You know, it's they're not playing, these guys. Absolutely.
Now, of course, Danny, unsurprisingly, setting the pace so far in this practice session. We have 30 minutes of practice left before we go into the 10-minute qualifying session. Now, Danny was a little bit miffed at himself at the Nürburgring because he'd put all his time and effort into a setup and then got into the race session and found it didn't suit the conditions at all. And he was struggling more than he was certainly in practice. And this time he's got some backups, got a few backup setups, and make sure he's got something that works. So if he doesn't like what he's got now, he'll switch it up. If he doesn't like what he's got in race 1, he'll switch it for race 2. But that doesn't mean that the chasing pack, you know, has fallen behind. It's half a second covering the top 3. And interestingly enough, those are the top 3 in our championship at the moment.
Yeah, the cream are really rising to the top. What's interesting about the setups, Chris, is that we haven't introduced part of Ferme rules, so you can change between the races with your setups, and even between the quali and the race, I would imagine. Yep. But it's amazing how such little differences in track temperature make a big feeling difference in this sim. That's how accurate it is.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, I've been doing the iRacing officials in the Formula Renault 2.0 championship, and when you get into a session, you look at the track temperature, and if it's kind of above 25 degrees, then your heart sinks a little bit because I'm not going to have as much grip as I did during my practice session. It's a real venture into the unknown because suddenly you don't have as much grip as you're used to, and you start sliding around an awful lot more, and you can't drive the car the way you're used to, and sometimes you need a different setup to cope with that. So it's definitely a key element, and that's also why we have this gentleman's agreement to share setups in our practice sessions and in this session as well, so people can say, oh, what setup are you using, can I give it a go? Because people like me, for example, I'm no setup wizard. I don't really know what I'm doing with the setup of the car. Matt Trumpets has really dived into it, and he's made some pretty great ones. I've used a lot of his, but it's definitely good that we have that agreement, because it does keep things close up the front.
It does, and I think setups are definitely a dark art, and you can go very right or very wrong with them, and it depends on the length of your stint as well. We were doing a Le Mans 24-hour event, and I didn't know what I was doing with setup, and I was up against Sam Harper, who's racing this evening. And I had some contacts, and I decided to use them. I had a couple of mechanics for the Aston Martin Le Mans racing team who were racing that weekend, actually as we were doing it as well. And I asked them, and so they came back to me with all sorts of hints and tips. So that got me a little bit closer, but I still wasn't quite there.
Oh, brilliant. How very nice of them. Of course, Sam Harper, he is racing, wasn't at the Nürburgring for our first round, if I remember rightly. Of course, last season's vice champion. And we're excited to see him in action, of course. Currently 11th fastest in this session.
I love the term vice champion. Did you know this evening that it has been announced that Donald Trump was the vice champion of the American election?
It's always great, isn't it? You know, I didn't even think we were going to get into this, but apparently we are. But I like the term vice champion, you know, as somebody who works in PR.
Of course you do,
because it sounds quite good, doesn't it?
It gives you two options. If your guy doesn't win, then you can say, "Well, we were the vice champion, so it's all fine."
Yeah, exactly.
First of the losers, baby.
Well, so we do still have 25 minutes left of this session. If you couldn't join us for the Nürburgring, where on earth were you? You've really missed out. But don't worry, because we have a little recap to get you up to speed. With a new qualifying format, point system and drivers, Season 2 of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge kicked off at the Nürburgring, where Danny Henny and Alexander Dobesberger brawled for the lead in Race 1, with the latter coming out on top. Dobesberger fancies another run at him into the chicane. Oh, he's gone through the chicane though! And this could be Dobesberger's one opportunity to take the lead of the race, and Henny has to let him through. Here comes Alexander Dobesberger to win his second Formula Renault Challenge race. Henny would redeem himself in Race 2 as he came through the field to win in the first of the 2 reverse grid races, with a further podium in Race 3, securing him an early lead in the championship.
Let's see who's going to be able to make it through cleanly.
Yeah, it's all a bit of a traffic jam down at the chicane at the moment, but Henny with the inside line makes his way through into that 4th place spot. Here comes Danny Henny to take his first victory of the season. Basso in 2nd, and James Wingfield is just gonna sneak over the line in 3rd place. Reigning champion David Hatton took the final honours of the night, sending out a statement that he would not be relinquishing his title easily. Hatton making his way down the back straight and up towards that chicane, and it's been a pretty decent start to his championship defence. Pretty much a typical Hatton weekend. Maybe he isn't the absolute fastest guy in the field, but he knows how to put in a damn good lap time and how to navigate the field safely. And here he comes to take his first victory of the season. So after the first round of the new season of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge, each of our winners lock out the top 3, with Danny Henny's 3 podiums leaving him 25 points clear of Alexander Dobesberger, who in turn is 2 ahead of reigning champion David Hatton, with Tim Ellis in 4th. Gregory Leader is at the top of the gold driver standings, with Barry Kemp leading the silver class. 25 points is Danny Henny's advantage up at the top of the championship. Sounds like a lot, but when you bear in mind we do have 60 points for a race win, and of course 3 races per evening, it's not actually all that much, and especially when you consider there's only 2 points between Dobesberger and Hatton. I'm still very excited for this championship, Chris.
Oh, it's absolutely all to play for, especially with such a big field. We get such a large number of points between. And as you say, Danny Henny is the man to beat. He's also the quickest and likely to be on pole today, I think, Chris.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because he's had some close challenges. David Hatton looks very fast. Dobesberger wasn't up there in this week's practice sessions. He seems to have pulled it together so far today, 3rd fastest. Kyle Power has been right up there as well. I think he's very much in contention for the feature race podium. But of course, we do have to consider some other drivers in there as well. Tim Ellis currently 4th fastest. We'll see what the likes of Stephen Williams can do as well. Made his debut in the championship last time out and was very, very impressive. Luca Harrison, who's right up in there as well. and Alex Drillsma also running in the top 10 again. So we definitely do have some top contenders. And of course, we have different driver classes this season as well, the platinum, gold and silver. So platinum, obviously the top guys we know, and the gold runners, Gregory Leader currently top of the gold standings, 5th place overall, and then Barry Kemp in 15th overall is the top of the silver class runners. So definitely ones to keep an eye out there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have a few livery changes this evening. One of which is our gracious leader, Spanners. And I thought I would just see if I can drag him into our chat.
I must apologise to the live stream for what they are about to see. Our director, Steve, did say he didn't really want to put the audience through such an ordeal of seeing this fantastically terrible livery, especially when Spanners had such a nice one for the Nürburgring race. But if Spanners is here now, he can talk us through why he's made such a terrible decision.
Okay, well, firstly, I'm offended and I disagree. This livery encapsulates my childhood. Timmy Mallet, Saved by the Bell, everything that was fantastic. Hey guys, yeah, firstly, Chris, I heard everything you said, and I take massive offence. What you have slagged off there is not just my livery, but Timmy Mallet, Saved by the Bell, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, everything that made the early 90s great. How dare you, sir?
I mean, they can't have been that great. We don't even talk about them anymore.
How's it going, commentary team?
Good. We're really looking forward to tonight. How do you think you're going to get on, though?
But I won't have the same strong showing that I had in the Nürburgring, I don't think. I think the Nürburgring, all about being reasonable on the brakes, so I was able to progress past the midfield. Here, it's just about fine throttle control and really threading the needle through the curves. There's no corner on this track that can't bite you hard and spin you off. And if I push the limits at all, I'm off. So I'm taking full granddad procedures and just trying to bring it home. I think that 20th place for the reverse grid, that will be like a podium for me today.
Oh, you disappoint me, Spanners. I remember seeing you put a message in the WhatsApp saying you're going all out in qualifying today.
I am going all out in qualifying because, and here's the reason, I don't think there's any difference for me if I start 25th or last. So in that terms, I may as well push for like a top 15 quali run. So I'm going low fuel. Every single lap I'm risking it going all out, but once it comes to the race, it's going to be steady Eddie.
All right, well, good luck with that. We'll let you get on with your practice. So
good luck.
Yeah, good luck, man, and have fun with that. Now, Spanners was talking about the severe challenges of this circuit, and he's not wrong. It's a very high-speed layout, and every corner is a potential error generator, especially as you're, as he said, threading your way through the curbs. Got to very finely pick your line, especially through these chicanes. But don't take my word for it. We've got championship leader Danny Henney to guide you through a lap of Imola.
So here we are, exiting the last corner, ready for a guided lap of the Imola circuit for the MAP Formula Challenge. We're heading up the straight, maximising the gear changes, take the maximum speed down to the first chicane, ready to find that braking zone turning point. Bring the car over to the left, try and straight line as much as possible. We're looking for the track to bend slightly. As soon as we get there, down on the brakes, down 3 gears into 4th, hook it up, ride the curb on the right, maximise the exit speed, loosen the wheel to take the maximum speed through the corner. Keep the car to the right, we're heading to the second chicane now. We're going to slight brake, down 1 gear, connect the curb on the left, down 1 more gear, connect the curb on the right, use all the exit curb for maximum speed to the hairpin. Hit the brakes, we're down to 3rd gear, get it in tight. Rotate the car and maximum traction out, using all the track again on the exit to carry the speed up the hill. Heading up the hill, we're going to look for the 50 metre board. We're going to brake slightly just after it, a little bit of brake, turn in, As soon as you hit that apex, pick up the throttle. Use all the exit curb on the end of the corner. A little bit wild, but we stick with it. Down the hill, we're going to slightly lift, down 1 gear, straighten the car, down 2 more gears, turn it in, pick up the throttle as early as you can to maximise the speed down to the next chicane. Coming down the road here, we're going to stay to the left, look for the 50-metre board, keep it in 5th to rev out, down 2 gears to 3rd, through the chicane, maximise the traction, straighten up the car, it's a bit loose, but keep with it. Bring the car over to the left, again maximising the gear changes on the run down to the hill. We're going to look for the 50-metre board on the right, we're going to brake about 70 metres, down to 3rd, hook the curb on the left, use all the exit curb for maximum speed, again lift slightly into the left, avoid the curb on the right not to bottom the car out, and watch those gear changes down the straight to maximise the speed. Keep the car to the right for the shortest distance, the line's just about to come up. We're getting ready to see what our lap time is, and it's a 1:41.885. Good luck.
Big thanks to Danny for recording that one for us. Let's take another look at the lap, because there are definitely some key corners. And I've done a little bit of racing on this track recently, not least for the officials that happened a couple of weeks ago. I got to say, the first chicane at Tamburello, it's going to be a real pinch point at the start. And drawing from experience, if a bit of a concertina effect happens down in there, there's no chance of avoiding a spinning car unless you absolutely hurl it towards the gravel trap and roll your way through there, which unfortunately I could not do in my particular circumstance. And then, of course, cars going side by side into the Villeneuve chicane, not easily done, but at the start they're going to be shuffling all into order, Chris.
Yeah, and I think the curbs are quite savage here, you were saying as well, Chris. They could definitely catch a few guys out, and it's, especially if you're trying to just avoid an incident, you could get yourself in trouble.
You have to get onto the first stage of the curbing, otherwise you bleed lap time. But of course, just a few centimetres to the side of it are these huge big sausage curbs that will absolutely send you spinning, damage your car. So it's really a thread the needle situation, especially through these first 2 chicanes. The only difference actually would be the Variante Alta at the top of the hill, where you absolutely monster those curbs. And then, of course, to end the lap, you've got the very difficult downhill braking zone of Ravazza 1. And if you get it even slightly wrong there, you end up in that gravel trap.
Well, you do, and then you get the Bottas-Verstappen situation going on, and then there's a good overtaking opportunity into the Variante Bassa at the end of the lap, which they don't have in the Formula 1 track, or they don't anymore.
No, exactly, and I got it. It's great that we have the non-chicane end of the lap, because it's a nice, lovely long straight that will see plenty of action down into Tamburello, surely.
I would hope so. Now, we were talking a little bit about setups a moment ago.
We were.
And I was hoping to bring in Matt Trumpets into our room, but I'm struggling to get him. So, fill some time, Chris, and I shall see if I can get him.
I will. It'll be great to hear from Matt. Actually, while we're getting Matt in here, let's say a big hello to the live stream, live on YouTube on the Missed Apex Motorsport channel. Join in on the live chat and tell us what you think of the racing action as we get into the night. Tell us who you think is going to be victorious, and of course, any incidents, let us know whose fault it is. And if you haven't already, subscribe and you get a notification when we go live. And if you haven't subscribed already to the main Missed Apex podcast channel, then what on earth are you doing? Go ahead and hit that button. Chris, any update for us?
Yes, I believe we do have Trumpets in with us as we speak. Trumpets, how are you getting on?
Well, I'm doing reasonably well. For me, the big issue really is deciding which of the 2 setups I have will be best on the day, and I'm not quite there yet because it's been very hard to get clear runs with all the traffic on the track.
Now that is perfect. We were just talking about setups and how you've really done a deep dive into working it out. So, is it a difference in downforce or suspension settings? What have you changed?
Well, I've taken what was Danny's version 3 setup, which is really nice, and I've made some tweaks to it, but I've discovered that another setup I was running on a different track actually worked really, really well. They're in fact quite similar in terms of lap time. Biggest difference is one has a bit more mechanical grip, a bit less downforce, but turns in, at least for me, turns in a bit better. So I haven't been able to figure out, there's neither one is faster than the other, so I think I'm just going to go with the one that feels most comfortable as we get down to it.
I was going to say, it's not just about overall lap time, it's going to be about what you can do through a whole race as well, because we're running, what, 9 laps today, and that's not an easy feat if you've got a pointy setup, shall we say.
Yeah, it's not, and the tires going off always an issue, but mostly it's about just like your comfort, your confidence in the car when you're on track with other people. Which one feels better to you will allow you to maximize your lap time, and of course which one you're least prone to crashing, because a spin or an off in a race that short will just be it's just brutal.
How are the track conditions out there, Trumpets? They're seeing 22 degrees track temperature. It sounds quite nice.
It's nice. I think we had sort of an open practice that Spanners threw up. The conditions were definitely better then. I was faster then. But I'm still able to visit the 43s, which I think for an old man is not too bad.
Not too shabby indeed. Trumpet, what's your game plan for this one? Spanners says he's going all out in qualifying and then granddad mode for the races. What are you going to be doing?
I'm looking to qualify between about a 43.8 and a 44.2, I think, in these conditions, if all goes well, if I can get a clean lap in. And from there, for me, it's the first 2 laps, I think, is just survival. And then by about the 3rd lap, the tires really start to come in. And if anyone ahead of me is slower than I am, then it's going to be, that's where the racing is going to happen. Okay,
great. Well, good luck, Trumpets. We'll let you get on with the final 10 minutes of practice and make your final adjustments. So good luck, and thanks for coming in to say hello.
Great. Thanks so much, Chris. Appreciate it.
Critical point that Matt brought up there was, of course, the tyres getting into the operating window, as it were. And, of course, the qualifying format we used to use in Season 1, where you only got 2 laps, made it very, very difficult because the tyres never got up to temperature properly. And, it was all banking on that 2nd lap. Now we have a nice open 10-minute practice session or qualifying session, and you can get 4 or 5 stabs at it, maybe, depending on the length of the circuit. It's made things slightly easier, but I think it's improved the show a little bit, because it means we still get some jumbled up grids, because of course you have to then manage the traffic throughout your session.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time we had a bit of a tricky session. Obviously, these tracks are quite narrow, so if you do catch up with anybody and they're on a hot lap as well, you just have to force your way past. And we did have a couple of issues. Speaking of qualifying, I think we're about to advance the session, Chris.
Yep, we're going early. So they've advanced the session early, and we're going to go straight into the qualifying action. And so just a reminder, 10 minutes open session. And it will just be down to who sets the fastest time at the end. Of course, last time out, we had Alexander Dobertsberger. We had Alexander Dobertsberger on pole position last time out. You can see the flurry of cars making their way out onto the circuit. That's Alex Drillsma, who's at the head of the pack. And just behind them, we've got Andy Flagg. That's a very quick car. Might want to keep an eye out on him. And then Danny Henney, 4th in that train. So we'll follow him as he progresses through this qualifying session. So we'll see if he decides to get himself up the front. He's already making a move on Jack Weddle, I think that is. And has he got Carl Power just behind him? He does indeed. So 2 top contenders. Hatton close behind there as well. We can see with the black and the lime green. Big number 1 on the side of his car. And Chris, he definitely made a statement with his race 3 win at the Nürburgring that he wasn't going down without a fight this season.
He did. He has been ever present at the front of our grid in this Formula Renault 2 Championship. He was fantastic in Season 1, of course, and he's really going for it this time. I don't think he's going to let Hatton off easy.
No, Absolutely not. So they're just coming through the chicane, coming up to the end of the lap, and we'll get the first laps in.
So it is all to play for, but I think we do have a favourite today. I think Debbitsberger could give him a run for his money, along with a couple of others, actually, to be honest with you. You know, we've got David Hatton is really high up there. Do you think Kyle Power's going to show that pace that he showed in midweek to bring it today?
Not sure about pole position. Definitely in the race, I would say, as Henny starts his first flying lap now. Definitely the favourite for pole position. But Debbitsberger really surprised in the Nürburgring, and I think David will be one to watch as well. He can really spring a surprise. So Henny just coming through the Variante Villeneuve and making his way up to the Tosa hairpin. Slowest corner on track, if I remember rightly. And you can get all the way out onto that AstroTurf there. No track limits to worry about. Same up at this Peratella, fast left-hander. You watch him, he'll go all over the curb and then some. There he goes. And into the fast Aqua Minerale. This is a fantastic corner. Throw it into the first right-hander, get it all slowed down for the second, and then powering back up the hill towards the Variante Alta.
Speaking of powering, Kyle Power into that very corner, just locked a wheel and actually bulked up David Hatton as well. So both of them will have a bit of a dodgy first lap. So it's all about the second lap for those guys. I
think he'll get away with that in terms of his grid position because, of course, the tyres are not up to temperature yet. We'll probably see the best times come around lap 3, lap 4. So absolute pace at the moment, not absolutely critical. I see Henny again getting all over the curbs. And as he comes down, so we've got the first times coming in. Sam Harper with a 58.1. Drillsma with a 42.9. That's pretty rapid, but here comes Henny. And his first time on the board, a 42.6. So he's 3/10 clear of Alex Drillsma at the moment. David Hatton, a 43.1. But you mentioned he was held up there by Kyle Power, who did not set a proper lap time, I don't think.
No, he pulled over to try and find some space again, but he hasn't found it because he is right behind Spanners, and Spanners has moved across, so that's okay for Kyle, but that's not good for Spanners because he also had a bit of a dodgy first lap as well. So he's going to have to find himself some space if he wants to get on the board.
So let's see how Hatton goes on this second lap. Luca Harrison, meanwhile, 42.9. He's slotted himself into the front row ahead of Alex Drillsma. You'll see the name Solon Harrison. That's his. It's his father's account that he races on. And so, if you're wondering why it says Solon, but his car's got Luca written all over it, then that's why. He says he gets very annoyed actually when his dad comes on and ruins his iRating for him. But Luca, a very rapid racer from the iRacing officials, very consistently in the top split and does things with setups that I can't fathom. I tried one of his once, and I don't think I got around half a lap. As Drillsma, currently third place on the standings, just had a little spin down at the Variante Alta, so that's not ideal for him. See David Hatton, he's coming round the two Rivazza corners now, so we'll see if he's been able to get a clean one in at the moment. Stephen Williams has gone into fourth place on a 43.1, so half a second currently covers the top 7 cars. Henny has improved to a 42.3, but it's been disallowed. So I wonder if he got a track limits warning. Meanwhile, Hatton goes to the top of the times, 42.5 on pole position by a 1/10.5 at the moment.
That's going to put some pressure on Henny. If he's getting times disallowed, he's going to have to put in a fast one, but yet be quite conservative to make sure that he actually gets a decent time on there. I know he's still second, but he's not going to want to give up that pole trophy anytime soon.
No, Tim Ellis has gone into third as well. He's within 2/10 of pole position, and Hatton got a spinner right in front of him down at the Tosa hairpin, but I don't think that cost him any time. Debbitsberger in fourth, meanwhile, and Kyle Power, his second lap, has put him in 7th place for now on a 43.0. So Hatton coming into Acqua Minerale now, and this is the third flying lap for these guys. So this is where the tyres are now finally up to temperature, and you can start to push the car that little bit harder. And I think we're seeing that at the moment. And I think we'll see personal best from both of these guys this time around, as Hatton gets a good run through the Variante Alta. Hopefully didn't run too wide on the exit of that corner. It's not the white line that's the track limit. You can actually go quite a lot further than you would think you can and get away with it. But of course, any mistake and you will get your lap time deleted for going too wide down there. So both of our pole position contenders at the moment powering down the Variante Bassa. And coming across the line, Henny does the 42.2, and it's allowed this time, a 42.205. Hatton improves to a 42.3, so it's not enough to beat Henny after the third lap. So it's Henny once again on provisional pole. This is a thrilling battle, Chris, and we're not even in the race. Oh, Hatton's gone off the road, and on his fourth lap, he will not get this one in because he's gone over the road down at the Tamburello chicane.
I think we were stacking up to have a really good final lap battle there, but that's a shame. Hatton, let's see what happened. He got a bit squirrely on the exit and then just touched the gravel, and that sent him off a little bit. And then that's obviously killed all of his speed.
So we're coming up to 8 minutes now. 2 minutes remaining in the session. He should get another lap in. In fact, he definitely will, so long as he doesn't just pull over to the side of the road and throw the towel in. So both of these guys still got a lap to come. And
He's still going.
Yeah,
he's still going. What will that have done to his tyres, Chris, going through the gravel there? How much does that affect it in this sim?
It shouldn't. The iRacing doesn't do flat spots, crucially. So he probably just get a little bit of muck on them, which will come off after a few corners. So I think he'll get away with it, especially by the time he starts his fifth lap.
And just a little update for you as well. We were talking to Trumpets just before the session. He was aiming for a 43.8 to 44.2. His best so far is a 44.4, so he's just got a tiny bit to improve, but he is on a reasonably good lap so far.
Very close with spanners as well. 72 thousandths of a second between our two Missed Apex podcast hosts. So Hatton really checked up at the final corner to make sure he had some space. Hopefully he hasn't lost the tyre temperature, crucially. Kyle Power right behind him as well. Henny, meanwhile, has taken another 10th off his lap time, 42.1, and has got a quarter of a second over Hatton at the moment. So it all comes down to this final lap for these three guys. Tim Ellis in third at the moment as well. So we'll see who can nab pole position for this second round of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge at Imola, and Hatton throwing it into the Villeneuve chicane. Running just ever so slightly wide, kicking up a little something. I don't think that was gravel. He might have gotten away with it.
I think he was. He lost a bit of time. Kyle Power has caught up a little bit with him. And actually on Power's last lap, he jumped Derbertsberger by 3 thousandths of a second. So is that over for Hatton? Is that over for him, do you think?
Hopefully not. We'll see how the rest of his lap unfolds. And of course, he's got to find at least a quarter of a second. So checkered flag has gone out, and we'll see what Henny can do as well. Tim Ellis, he's fallen down a little bit, 3 tenths behind Hatton with his latest effort. Hatton flinging it over the curb at the Variante Alta. So 2 more corners to go, and we will see who will be on pole position for this round 2.
Oh, Henny got a bit of traffic, and actually he's gone off because Wingfield spun in front of him. Hatton is in, sorry, not Hatton. Henny is in the wall, and he is out. So
an open opportunity then for David Hatton. We'll see as he comes over the line if he can beat Henny's 142.128 to get pole position. Comes across the line now, and it's a 42.4. He can't do it. So it is Danny Henny on pole position at Imola, and David Hatton will have to settle for the front row. Stephen Williams has bagged himself a second row spot in third place with that last effort. Fantastic lap for him. We'll see if anybody else can respond to it. Tim Ellis coming across the line now. 42.7. He can't do it either. It's fourth place for Tim Ellis. And Kyle Power, he was 5th in the end. Dobertsberger, our pole man from Nürburgring, will start in 6th place. That was a really, really entertaining qualifying session. And we've still got 3 races to come, Chris. So I'll give you a rundown of the rest of the top 10. Luca Harrison, 7th place. Alex Drilsma in 8th. Andy Flagg in 9th. And John Lang in 10th place. First time we've really mentioned him, but that's a very good qualifying for him. MX5 champion Steve Ficacci in 11th place. Brian Boomsma, another rookie in the championship who made his debut at the Nürburgring, is at 12th at the moment, ahead of Ishmael Basso, Colin Ward, and Neil Singh right up in there as well. Sam Harper, vice champion from last season, 16th on the grid. So a little bit of a slow welcome back for him. Alex Van Gien looks like he's top of the Missed Apex panelists, apart from Kyle, obviously, in 17th place. And between Trumpets and Spanners, it came down to a 10th of a second in Trumpets' favour in 26th and 27th. Well, I don't know about
Chris.
you guys, but I am... oh, you're back with us. You are going to...
I'm back. I had made a little diversion because I wanted to get... they're going to the grid. So, sorry, Danny, enjoy your race. I will see you later on.
Thank you. That was quick.
Enjoy the race. Okay, sorry about that, Chris. I was just trying to get Danny to come into the commentary box, but I was having a bit of an issue with Discord. In fact, I'd launched myself out of the commentary box.
Oh, dear. So
it's like I'd run down to the pit lane to get him myself, Chris.
Absolutely. So we're just gridding up at the moment. Henny not on the grid just... Oh, there he is. Pops into view now. So, of course, Henny on pole position. Hatton in 2nd place. Stephen Williams in 3rd in that Prema-coloured car. Then in 4th place... now, hang on a minute. That doesn't quite... it is Alexander Dobertsberger in 4th. So he got a last chance saloon right in there at the end to bag the 2nd row of the grid, with Tim Ellis in 5th ahead of Kyle Power. So bets are on, Chris.
So it's going to be tricky because I think Danny's going to get a good start with his double clutch system, but it's all about whether he can build a gap in the first couple of laps over Hatton to prevent the challenge.
Off the road he goes, but he'll get away with that one. And they're going to go side by side into Aqua Minerale as well. Power just holding on. And meanwhile, there's Alex Drillsma waiting in the wings.
He's got quite a good exit. Harrison's going to have to go defensive into the chicane.
Yeah, Power's got just a little bit. Drillsma, he had a look down the inside, couldn't do anything with it though. So apologies again to the live stream if you haven't been able to hear us so far. So it sounds like some issues with Discord, so apologies for that. But it sounds like we're back now. Just to catch you up, Danny Henney leads by 1.8 seconds over David Hatton. And Tim Ellis has moved up into third place as he is side by side with Stephen Williams. And he's got him before they get on the brakes for the Tamburello chicane. And Tim Ellis is up into third place. So I wonder if that was a little mistake on the exit of Rivazza for Stephen Williams. But at the moment, he's lost that podium position. And well, if I know Stephen Williams, he'll be right back on him to try and get that position again. Meanwhile, the battle we were just watching for fifth place, Carl Power just edging away from Solon Harrison a little bit. 0.6 of a second with Alex Drillsma waiting right up in there. John Lang, a little bit of lap traffic behind them, but then we've got Colin Ward, Andy Flagg, and then Luke Critchley is your top 10 at the moment. And this leading quartet spread out a little bit. 2.7 seconds is Henny's advantage over David Hatton. And then 1.4.5 seconds, we'll call it, over Tim Ellis. And Williams, it looks like he's getting dropped a little bit by Tim Ellis. 0.8 of a second down. And then this battle for fifth place between Power, Harrison and Drillsma. So Ellis and Williams making their way through the two Rivazza left-handers. And Williams doesn't look like he's close enough. Definitely not close enough at 0.8 of a second to try and slipstream his way past down into the Tamburello. Fastest lap of the race last time out, 42.4 for Danny Henney, stretching his legs. 2.9 seconds his advantage now. So whatever Henny's been doing with that setup, it's working very nicely for him. It was a personal best from Hatton and Ellis as well on that previous lap.
I'd like to draw your attention to a cracking battle between Harrison and Drillsma. Drillsma is crawling all over the back of him, and he's making a lunge into Tosa on the inside. He's been cut off, but they're going to be side by side up the hill to Piratella.
Battle back on between Harrison and Drillsma for what is now sixth place, and it looks like Drillsma is the man on the move coming up towards Piratella. We saw absolutely cracking bit of side by side between Harrison and Power for that fifth place spot, and hopefully we'll see just as much action between him and Drillsma. They come back up the hill towards the Variante Alta, and Drillsma very much in an attacking position, doesn't know which way to go, looks up towards the inside. It's a very short braking zone in there, thinks about it, has to get out of it at the very last minute, and just about kept his nose clean through all that. He's lost a little bit of ground with that sort of half move down into the Variante Alta.
Yeah, there's only one line through there, and that a move you have to really get it done for actually make it in front, otherwise you lose a shed load of time.
I think Stephen Williams has made a mistake somewhere, because Carl Power's right with him now and is about to make a move for fourth place as they come down the pit straight. We'll get Williams' time as they come across. It was a 45.8. I think he has made a mistake down in there, and just a little close bit of wheel rubbing side by side between Harrison and Drillsma behind them as well. So Power goes through into Tamburello. And behind them, Harrison has been able to hold on. But Williams having another look at Carl Power, trying to take back that fourth place. Looks up the inside of the Villeneuve chicane. Can't do it on the way in.
I'm just trying to have a look back through where he made a mistake. I think it was, yes, he got held up at the chicane in the Variante Alta with a back marker who just got in the way, and that really balked him, allowed Power to get right up, tucked underneath him.
Yeah, he was 2.7 seconds quicker than him on that previous lap. So definitely opportunistic stuff from Carl Power, now up into 4th place as they're making their way out of Aqua Minerale and back up the hill. And Stephen Williams will want that place back. As we're on lap 6 of 9, so 3 to go after this one.
I was about to say this battle is very much not done. If I know Steve Williams, he's going to be coming right back at Power here.
Well, Stephen Williams, we all remember from the most epic karting video we ever produced. That fantastic race at Buckmore Park between himself, Van Gien, Brad Philpott, and Kyle, all going for the lead on the very last lap of the race. And it was fantastic stuff. And I think he was 4th of that pack in the end of that one. So if you haven't seen that, then make sure you go and check out our last Buckmore Park video on the Missed Apex podcast channel. Williams having another look, not close enough into Tamburello. Still very close between Harrison and Drillsma behind them, but for Stephen Williams, it looks like another opportunity might present itself for the Villeneuve chicane. Not quite. On the exit of Tosa, still Power leads Williams for 4th place, and Harrison still ahead of Drillsma. So maybe not so much swapping and changing, but still some fantastic racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry if the live stream can't see this because we are having some technical issues, but we will bring it to you as we see it. You'll just have to listen to our wonderful descriptions of it, which I'm sure Chris will paint 1,000 words.
Very much like radio commentary. We'll treat this one. So coming up towards the end of lap 7, 2 to go after this one. Still Danny Henney leads by over 4 seconds now ahead of David Hatton and Tim Ellis, your top 3. Carl Power, nice exit from him, and just gapping Stephen Williams ever so slightly. And Luca Harrison and Alex Drillsma still going absolutely toe-to-toe over 6th place. And this might be Drillsma's opportunity. Look how close he is on the run down the pit straight. And looking towards the outside of Tamburello. Getting it done under braking, and Luca is just expertly, he's just pitch perfect through that chicane every time.
He'd got a bit of a bad exit though, so he's really put Drillsma on his tail. Is he going to go wide?
I don't know if you can look up the inside of the first part of the Villeneuve chicane. It's so quick on the way in. You almost have to try and make it around the outside and get the high ground for the right-hander, but that more often than not will end in tears. So better to look up at the inside of the Tosa hairpin, really, if you can try and offset the car in front, force him into an error. Still absolutely nose to tail as they head through Peratella, both abusing the track limits, which you can do. Very much a relief for the people counting the incident points, which of course we are doing. It's worth bonus points if you get 1 or 2, or if you can get through with no incident points at all, then you get bonus points. It's 5 incident points where you don't gain any extra points for that in the championship. Now, Stephen Williams, he's dropped off again because suddenly he's dropped off the back of Carl Power, and Luca and Alex are suddenly much, much closer to Stephen as we start this final lap of the race. So all eyes on this battle for 5th place at the moment, with Danny Henney 4.6 seconds up the road from David Hatton in 2nd. So Luca now getting a slipstream in front of him, and that might have just helped him defend from Alex Drillsma into the Tamburello chicane for the final time.
Yeah, Williams is really under pressure here. He's really dropping off the pace. Has his tyres gone off?
I don't know. He hasn't got any wing damage, so it must be. Oh, Drillsman very nearly went into the back of Luca Harrison at the second part of the Villeneuve chicane. That's actually cost him a lot of time, and he's fallen back. And now it could be Luca Harrison getting his way into the 5th place if he can make his way past Stephen Williams. Through Piratella for the final time. Oh, there's a back marker going slowly, and Williams has been really caught up in that. He's lost both places to Drolsma and Harrison, now down in 7th place. That was Frick Smith, who was way off the road, no front wing on his car, and just an open door for both of these guys, and Stephen Williams will be ruining that. They go into the Variante Alta for the final time. Drolsma definitely running out of corners if he wants to make his way past Solon Harrison. Danny Henney, meanwhile, is making his way out of Rivazza corner for the final time and comes across the line to take his 2nd victory of the season, his first feature race win of the season with a dominant display at Imola. And David Hatton will come across the line in 2nd place, 4.6 seconds back in the end, with Tim Ellis in 3rd place, Carl Power 4th, and Luca Harrison just holding off Alex Drolsma for 5th place. Sorry, my timing took a little while to get updated there. It was showing Stephen Williams in 5th for a second there, but he does come home in 7th place. Andy Flagg in 8th place there, Colin Ward 9th, and Gregory Leader in 10th place. That's your top 10 for this race 1. And that was some cracking action we got to see there, Chris.
Oh, it absolutely was. Let's see if we can bring our race leader, our race winner, sorry. Oh, no, hang on. It is nearly there. I'm so sorry. We are nearly there. Danny, our race winner. How was that for you? First couple of laps were under pressure, but then it was fairly plain sailing from there.
Yeah, it was good. It was a solid race. Yeah, I nearly dropped it in turn 1 on lap 1. I was just being a bit too cautious. And then, yeah, I had a few hairy moments here and there, just trying to build up the temperature. But, yeah, solid. I was just focusing on trying to get 1x, really. Remember them to get the maximum points, and once I'd got a gap to David of 2 seconds, I was just trying to manage the pace to keep that gap building bit by bit.
Well, the 1x would have been tricky today because the back markers were proving tricky. We had a number of incidents down the field, but you were quick. Do you think coming through the field to in the 2nd race that you'll make good progress? It's quite hard to pass here, we've seen.
I'm hoping so. On previous races, I tend to just take it really easy on lap 1, try and avoid the carnage, and then put the hammer down on lap 2 and just see as far as I can get up the field. But you can pass. I've got about 6 spots I reckon I can pull a move off what I got in practice. But it all depends on obviously what's happening in front, really. If there's a pack, it's probably a little bit easier. If it's someone on their own, they can defend a little bit more. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I must admit, I don't mind the feature race. That's quite fun getting pole position, but the reverse grids is really fun. That's where the action's at.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to watching you carve your way through the field. Thank you very much for talking to us, Danny. Enjoy the race too.
So that's race 1, and we have the first of 2 reverse grid races coming your way. And as I make it will be Connor Meyer who will be starting on reverse grid pole position, having finished 20th in that race. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with race 2. Welcome back to Imola, where we're about to get underway for race 2, the first of 2 reverse grid races for the night. Before we get going, though, Chris, you've got an update on James Wingfield for us.
I do, yes. I've got a special guest, James Wingfield, who had some problems in practice. Tell us about it, James.
Yeah, hi guys. It was all a bit exciting there for me. I was just doing a few laps in practice, and suddenly my brake pedal failed. There's a pivot pin in the brake pedal, and it walked its way out, so I had no brakes, and it was a bit last minute. It repairs.
What
did
you have to do to fix it, James?
I take it out to the garage and polish up the pivot pin, and then bring it back in and reassemble it quickly. I think I managed it with a few minutes to spare. It was a bit rebel-esque.
You belong on the F1 grid, James. Right, I'm going to enjoy the race, and we will see you in a bit.
Yeah, thanks. I'll see you soon, hopefully. Good races, hopefully.
Enjoy.
That's James Wingfield. Last minute repair job for him. Did pretty well, actually, to end up getting back into it. And so we'll keep an eye on his progress for the remainder of the races tonight. So this race 2. There was some issues with the timing towards the end of that race, but I have down Connor Meyer as a reverse grid pole, and then Richard Molden, one of the admins for this. A big tip of the cap to him and Sam Watley for helping us put on these events because they are absolutely the highlight of our month. So he should be on the front row. Okay, so just being told that there might be a slight delay because of an issue with this session. We may have to abandon it and go to a new one. So hopefully we'll be getting race 2 underway very soon. I'll run you through the rest of the top 5. Steve Ficacci, the MX5 champion, I've got him down as 3rd place, and then Jack Weddle and Brian Boomsma, a new name to the championship this season, should be in 5th place on the grid. And a very quick guy, actually. Another guy who sort of tends to be in the top split of the iRacing officials, or at the very least the top of split 2. So definitely one to keep an eye out for. And of course, we'll keep you updated with how our leaders from the first race come through the pack. Henny, Hatton, Ellis. These reverse grid races are what make a championship. And, Henny, all well and good him winning the feature race. But if he, gets caught up in an incident in either of these next 2 races, it's going to be a big dent to his championship. And that's partially why we see a little bit of a gap in the championship between himself and Alexander Dobertsberger at the moment. Dobertsberger, actually, I don't know if you caught eyes on him during that race, Chris, but did not see him in the top 10. I don't think he was in the top 20 either.
No, I think he relatively quickly dropped out. I think he might have had an issue. He may well have had a bit of an incident. It was off camera, unfortunately. I didn't see it, but I did notice he was conspicuous by his absence after the first couple of laps. And
second in the championship at the moment. It's critical for him. So already, of course, you do get a drop score round this season. So I think if even if the rest of this round goes horribly, he can still use it as his 1 drop score round.
Another driver who had a horrendous race 1 was Spanners, who apparently his VR system broke down, so he wasn't able to use it on the grid, apparently. So shame for him, because he was down to have a great battle with Trumpets, but yeah, it was not to be that day.
So that's going to put him down towards the back of the grid for this one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he was one of the last finishes. He did get going in the end, but I think he was heavily impaired by the lack of vision, I think, as you would be.
Yeah, yeah. That of everything to have, that's probably something you do need. So we are going to have to take a quick breather. just while we get everything sorted with this session. But we'll be back with race 2 very shortly. Welcome back to Imola, where we are about to get going with race 2. Apologies for the delay. It seems like iRacing has had a few issues tonight, and we are not the only ones to be having a few issues with some of these sessions. So we've had to set up shop again, but it looks like we're going to get underway very, very shortly. So again, apologies for the delay, but it'll be worth it once we get going.
It is, and actually, do you know what? I think the technical team don't get enough of a shout out for doing the amazing job that they do.
No,
you know, and it's not just us in Sutton here, Chris. It's the international effort that we've got going on here, Missed Apex.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you got Steve all the way in Australia doing a fantastic job putting on the production of the live stream. The admins, Sam and Richard, who have been working away furiously over the last 10 minutes to get this issue sorted and to get us a new session that we're going to be going with soon. So yeah, big thanks to you guys. We're pretty much nothing without you.
That's it. And with the Swarm livery, we have Sean Bull, who was a little bit upset with Spanners at butchering his design.
Oh well, I mean, we use it for the officials, of course, but I think we all agreed, everyone running such a similar livery for this live stream, it would have been impossible for us commentator. I don't know if you've ever watched the Red Bull Rookies Cup, Chris, in the bike racing.
Oh, but I haven't. I'm more of a four wheels guy, but go on.
I had to write a race report when I was with Autosport for the Red Bull Rookies Cup, and they all run a Red Bull livery on those bikes with very little to differentiate. Only the bike number and the helmet design. So yeah,
I'm so glad they're all running slightly different colours in this session. I've not watched the Swarm.
I mean, props to those commentators, though.
Oh yeah, I find this hard enough, and I've got all the tools at my disposal.
So we are now going to have a second qualifying session. So we can't, unfortunately, set up the reverse grid because we've had to create a new session because of these issues with iRacing, unfortunately. But that does mean, Chris, we're going to have another Hatton Henny duke out for pole position.
Oh, do you know what? I'm really looking forward to this because the first one was slightly curtailed with a couple of incidents. But we looks like we have a 10-minute session now where we're going to be getting these two really duking it out. That'll get us, what, 5, possibly 6 laps, Chris?
Should be 5 laps, I would imagine, yeah. It's what we had in the first qualifying session, if I remember rightly. I'm looking out for Hatton and Henny. I don't see him even on the track yet. So maybe this time they've decided to leave it late and potentially save themselves any issues with traffic, which is going to be a slightly risky strategy. But yeah, on their own head be it.
I will keep an eye on Trumpets as well and see if he can just get into that time that he wanted. He was only 0.2 off last time. Let's see if he can get it today.
So they're just leaving the pit lane now with each other. So they have got a bit of a gap up to the next car, but they have left it a while. This might only give them 4 laps because we've already had 1 minute and 40 seconds of this session. So they might have sacrificed a lap here to get some better track position. And of course, this is the sort of strategy we were hoping to see when we made the switch to an open qualifying session.
That's it. And what is Danny going to do? He looks like he's actually sitting behind Hatton. Hatton's trying to move out the way, but Henny is desperate not to overtake him. I think he wants the toe, Chris.
Is the toe going to be worth much? I mean, down the straight for sure, but beyond that, I can only see it being a bit of a hindrance because there's not much in the way of straights on this circuit. Even in one of these cars, you will get some turbulent air.
True, and I was going to say, from your experience of driving these cars on this track, Chris, what's the turbulent air like, especially going through, like we're just going through like Aqua Minerale now? I imagine you need all the downforce you can get.
It makes a huge difference. You turn into corners, you suddenly can't believe where the front end's gone. You can have the best front end of the world, and it will just slide off the road as soon as you start getting near other cars, and it does make things incredibly difficult. So now we see Henny backing up a little bit. He's also got Mark Greenhow behind him as well, though, and I think he's gone past him. So Henny's gonna have to slow up even more. Hatton's now slowing up as well. It's like an actual Formula One qualifying session. This
is it. They might only get 4 laps in at this rate.
They're costing themselves tire temperature. So Hatton's now stuck behind Danny Henny. So it's going to be a little interesting to watch.
Interestingly, Danny hasn't booted it down the start-finish straight, so they're sacrificing this lap as a warm-up lap as well. The two of them.
Yeah, well, I suppose that was always going to be the case anyway with the tyre temperature. So Hatton's getting a great slipstream at the moment, but he is only going to be getting turbulent air for the rest of the lap.
But they're only at like 50% throttle, Chris. They're not going for it at all here.
So they're still deciding to just go for the warm-up rather than the lap time, unless this might sound crazy, but it's exactly the kind of thing Danny would suggest, and that David would also agree with, is if maybe they've decided to throw this qualifying session and put themselves into the pack as a sort of for a bit of showmanship, because this, of course, was supposed to be the reverse grid race.
So they're going to try and qualify 20th then. So they should be looking.
That's going to be. That's going to be really like expertly, done to try and find that particular grid slot. So we just had confirmation that is what these guys are doing. So who were our other contenders for pole position? We had Tim Ellis, Dobertsberger, and Power, who were very, very quick. So let's take a look at how their sessions are going. I've got eyes on Dobertsberger. He's coming through the Tosa hairpin in a world of traffic. That was Luca Harrison just going slow there, that he's having to come past. So we've got the first lap time starting to come up on the board. 1:43.8 for Sam Watley. Actually, that's second place. It's Focacci on a 43.7 on provisional pole position. Lucas Raskovitz in third, 44.1. So let's see how the rest of this goes. Dobertsberger here currently in 24th place.
Yeah, and Kyle Power has just started a lap of his own, so we'll see. He's just going through the Villeneuve chicane up to Tosa, so we'll see where he goes in about a minute or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tim Ellis 6th at the moment, 44.6. He's just ahead of Alex Van Gien. Trumpet's right up there in 5th place, actually, on a 44.4. That's about what he did in the first qualifying session, is it not?
Yes, he did a 44.4. You're right. So yeah, he was saying he wanted a 43.8 is what he was really going for. So I really hope he can jump up the grid a little bit this time.
Lucas jumped in the chat to say he is also throwing this session, so we might get a bit of a topsy-turvy grid in the end. Dobertsberger goes fastest on a 43.1. He goes a 10th clear of Ishmael Basso.
Are we going to get a Schumacher session and maybe one of the fast guys just putting in the pump in a quick one right at the end and say,
yeah.
Oh, well,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the checkered flag was out.
Oh, yeah. I went a bit too quick. I'm sorry.
Oh, what? That was slow.
I was a 10th off what I did before that slow.
Yeah. That's exactly the kind. Danny's been, he's very, very good at what he does, but suddenly he was like in 4th place in one of the officials, and was suddenly like, "Oh, I've lost it. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, it's a terrible night."
These fast guys, they certainly struggle when they're not at the front. Although Danny,
they don't like losing. And
they don't.
Fair enough.
I must say, all of the guys in this group are a fantastic bunch of people. Danny is particularly supportive, and as I say, he really helps people with setups and just generally quite a nice fella.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he'll help you if he knows you're probably not going to beat him once he does help you.
It's very helpful to me, that's for sure.
Very helpful to me as well. So yeah, thanks. So 2.5 minutes remaining in this session. Dobertsberger about to put another one in across the line and see if he can lower that benchmark. He does indeed, 42.8. and that puts him almost half a second clear of Ismail Basso in second place. And they will have Steve Ficacci in third, Sam Watley currently fourth, Lucas Raskowitz fifth, Colin Ward sixth, Jack Weddle seventh, Sam Harper eighth, Trumpets ninth, Adam Rosales in 10th place. And then Tim Ellis, who was third in race one, he's in 11th at the moment. And just to give you an update on how the throwing goes for some of our top guys, Kyle Power currently in 29th place. He's just been demoted to. And I did have eyes on Hatton and Henny. They are currently 31st and 32nd separately, although sort of tumbling down with every lap that comes in. So we're definitely going to have a mixed up grid for this one, so should be fantastic to watch the guys coming through the field, which I'm sure Chris, you'll be able to keep a close eye on.
I shall certainly take a view on those guys coming through. Looks like Spanners Ready is facing backwards out of the Variante Alta, and he is currently in last place, so I'm assuming we can say that he's thrown it. Why don't we see if we can bring him in and see. So, Spanners, are you deliberately throwing this this qualifying session, or are you just being very slow?
Oh, sorry, am I on stream?
You are.
Oh, okay, so to explain, we had a big mess up with the sessions, and the guys who would have ordinarily finished first, obviously the reverse grid means they finished 20th, and they don't want to take advantage of the session glitch that means they got the chance to qualify first again. So they're trying to put themselves in a approximate position. I would have, due to my VR dropping out in the last race, been starting this race in 43rd, so I've manufactured that as well. And it is what it is. Everyone's been absolutely lovely about the fact we've run hundreds of sessions, and I think this is the first time we've managed to really get something wrong and not been able to do the reverse grid. So apologies to anyone who was confused by that. But the drivers, it's a testament to the community that they're all going, oh, well, I don't want to finish first because I know I would have started 20th in the next race.
Yeah, so tell us about your VR issues.
It just dropped out 43 seconds to go, and I spent 4 or 5 minutes crying whilst trying to get back on the grid. I got back on after 2 laps had run. But actually, it gives you a good insight to real race drivers who do all that preparation, and then suddenly there's a mechanical issue. And I know it's not comparable. A lot of people say, oh, it's just sim racing, but I've put a lot of emotional investment into making sure I'm prepared to give myself at least a decent showing in this race. And it was heartbreaking to suddenly, not only not be able to race in that race, but then know I'm starting 43rd for the next race.
That's right. You've put a lot of time in avoiding your wife and your children to prepare for this. So,
exactly. The guys have really invested. You might think, oh yeah, they're just sitting in their houses on pretend steering wheels, looking at a screen. But these guys, I promise you, they treat it as much as seriously as any other amateur sport. Their 5-a-side league, their Saturday 11-a-side league, their badminton league, their karting tournament. These guys in this competition treat this as a competitive iRacing event. So when something goes wrong, they really, really feel it. But it is a lovely community as well, as has been sort of played out by everyone giving up potential advantages from this mistake.
That's it. But in this coming race, you've got 42 people to overtake. So of your wonderful patrons and friends, you're going to go hard at it?
I will be going for it. And a 20th place will be an absolute Rocky Balboa moment. And I will be cheering and whooping like it was a podium, man.
Well, good luck. We will follow your progress. Enjoy the race.
Spanner's mentioned there the community feel of this event, and I can't but agree with him. It is absolutely that. It's a fantastic group of people, and every single time I join the guys for an online session, we all have an absolute blast together, and it's a wonderful group event. And the investment in what is Missed Apex podcast, it just makes it all the more sweet to join in. Checker flag has gone out on this qualifying session, and Dobertsberger, it will be on pole position ahead of Ismail Basso and Steve Ficacci. Top 3. Andy Flagg did get up into 4th place there ahead of Sam Watley, Jack Weddle, Lucas Raskowitz, Luke Critchley, Colin Ward, and David Hatton ahead of Danny Henney in 10th and 11th there. So not quite as hindered as they otherwise would have been, but still we've got to see them come through the order. And we're now getting ready for the race, Chris.
I knew they wouldn't be dead last, didn't you?
Well, I didn't think they were going for dead last, but, you know, 10th place, it's worse than first.
It is.
Not as bad as 20th.
Next to each other. There could be fireworks down to that first corner, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got quite a mixed bunch in there. Well, I'm loving just seeing this field of cars flowing down this not quite so pit straight. What is it? 50 runners, I think we have today. Something.
Spanish was saying he's going to line up 43rd and last. This
43rd. Okay, 43 then. So, yeah, that's a ridiculous number of cars, isn't it?
It's not quite as bad as at Le Mans if you do a standing start there and you're actually kind of going round the final chicane.
Oh, the chicane, yeah. Oh, dear. So, less than a minute to go until the start of this race 2, where it will be Alexander Dovesberger on pole position, Ismael Basso alongside him on the front row, MX5 champion Steve Ficacci. He's got a new livery, one we're not used to. It's a green one for him. Andy Flagg in the pink and white behind them, and then Sam Watley in the yellow and white. Jack Weddle in that rather smart sort of, I don't know how you got sort of pink chrome, one black. Very, very nice. And then Lucas Raskovitz in the John Player special colours with a nice little Missed Apex flavour on there. It'll be the run down towards Tamburello chicane. And we'll see who will emerge up at the front. Don't forget David Hatton and Danny Henney starting 10th and 11th. We've got to watch their progress. The top 2 in the championship.
I should keep a close watch on them for you, Chris, as we're about to go green.
Yep. Of course, Dovesberger trying to make up ground in the championship. We'll see if he can do that with a potential race 2 victory. It's underway, and Dovesberger leads the field away. And Ismael Basso settling there into second place. Steve Ficacci trying to challenge him, but it's Andy Flagg who was dropped in behind them and trying to consolidate that position, as you were for the front. And Henney immediately making up progress up into 7th place already. He's jumped Hatton, who's still down there in 10th place, side by side with his old championship rival from last season, Sam Harper. Just cuts across the nose as they go into the Villeneuve chicane.
He was. They both kept it quite clean as there was a couple of guys ahead of them just punted each other off. So Hatton is still, as you say, embroiled in a bit of a battle here.
Steve Ficacci up into 2nd place. Ismael Basso was slow off of the Tosa hairpin, and that allowed the MX5 champion through and up into 2nd place. And Danny Henney is on the back of this leading train of cars already. One car between him and David Hatton, and that's Lucas Raskovitz in 8th place. So Dovesberger kind of pulling clear. He's got nearly 2 seconds over Ficacci already. We're not even at the end of lap 1, but there's that sea of cars that come through the Variante Alta, as we see Colin Ward getting a little bit wide on the exit, and that could be an opportunity for Danny Henney, championship leader, to come through and take that 7th place away from him. As he looks up the inside towards Ravazza corner, and he's got it done. Colin Ward doesn't fight him. He's now put 2 cars between himself and his title rival. So at the end of lap 1, it is Alexander Dovesberger who leads the field by 2 seconds over Ismael Basso. Only 3/10 behind him, though, and he could be having a look at 2nd place on the way into the Tamburello chicane. Ficacci goes to the left. Basso to the right. He'll have the outside line for the chicane, and Ficacci manages to get it stopped in time and holds on to that 2nd place. That puts Andy Flagg right on Basso's tail. Coming back down towards the Villeneuve chicane. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, he got a bit of a slow exit that meant that Basso was really bulked there, and Flagg is all over him, coming up into Tosa, going to the outside.
And meanwhile, Danny Henney goes up the inside of Sam Watley and picks up that place there. Colin Ward going out wide, and that's a place for David Hatton potentially, as well as they got towards Peratella. Now he's tucked back in behind Colin Ward in that Rothmans Williams classic livery.
Well, Henney using all of the track and some there. He was getting very close to just dipping in the gravel. He's really pushing to try and see if he can get to the front. He is currently up to P5 behind Andy Flagg and Ismail Basso, still going at it as they go into the chicane.
Yeah, this could turn into quite the scrap as Basso tries to reclaim that second place that he lost earlier on in this race.
And I think Ficacci's made a mistake and has put himself into Basso's grasp here. Basso's going to the inside.
That's going to be a brave move coming up the inside of Ravassa. Ficacci doesn't fight him and waves him through, but he's let the other guys pass. And Henny's gone round! Championship leader Danny Henny is facing the wrong way at Ravassa corner. Through goes his title rival, David Hatton, and now it's all to do for number 93. We'll see where he comes up in the pack. He's currently tumbling down my timing screen. I think he's emerged in 11th place. Meanwhile, that battle for second place, not sure what Ficacci was doing down there at Ravassa corner, but the outcome of it's put Basso up into second place ahead of Andy Flagg, and Ficacci now trying to get his way back onto the podium. David Hatton crucially through that cleanly. He's got Sam Watley between him and this battle for second place.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, it goes. Oh, Drillsma in the exit of Tamburello has gone for a spin. I was just looking to find Danny Henny. He's behind Tim Ellis, so that's a very quick car that he's not going to get round quickly.
I was just having a look back at the incident, and actually Ficacci, I don't know what he was doing. He left the door open for a couple of guys to go through, and then just absolutely slammed it shut as Hatton and the guys were coming through. It's a really tricky corner though, because it's a very downhill braking zone, but he didn't seem to lock up. He just didn't see him coming.
It's such a tricky corner. It's so easy to lock either of the front tyres down in there because it's downhill and then the track falls away from you, and it just induces understeer. And it's very, very easy to end up on the outside curve and on the grass and then in the gravel. It's a bit of a spiral effect down in there.
That's it. So it is little things like this in your championship that just derail you, and they play on your mind as you go into the next races as well. You know, he's thinking, well, now I've got to maximise what he can make out of this. He's gone back down to P11. He's just overtaken Tim Ellis for that position. But he's got a good couple of seconds up to Shane Jordan. I don't think he's going to make a big inroad from here, Chris.
Yeah, I think that's 10th place. Timing screen's just updated. That is 10th place for Henny, getting up ahead of Tim Ellis. And actually, Ellis is not through. He's trying to come back at him down into the Tamburello chicane. You've got to be careful because Tim's a very quick car. Of course, they were both on the podium in race 1. Meanwhile, Steve Ficacci still trying to get his way back onto the podium. And, of course, open door now for David Hatton, who's now all over the back of Sam Watley. Oh, and dodging up the inside at Tosa Hairpin and putting himself up into 5th place. And now he's got his sights set on this podium battle. He's got 1.7 seconds to close up to get on the back of Ficacci.
So we got Ficacci's on the back of Andy Flagg here. He's going to come up into the Variante Alta. They're also closing in on Basso, Chris.
They are indeed. This battle very much on for second place, and Hatton is making short work of that gap, already down to 1.1 seconds. He'll be on the back of these guys very, very quickly. Dobesberger, meanwhile, has got 4 seconds already on these guys as they come up to start lap 4. Start lap 5, even. That's the end of lap 4. So halfway through, and Basso still holding his own in second place. Got 6.5 tenths over Andy Flagg. And wow, look at this. Now we've got some lap traffic getting involved in it as well, because these guys are just emerging from the pits. Luckily, though, I think our top contenders have gotten through. So definitely the top 5 shouldn't be affected.
Ficacci's got a better exit. He's coming up to Tosa.
Oh, he does.
The outside.
Yeah, Flagg has to go defensive, and Ficacci forced a long way around. He might actually get some better traction out there, and he's definitely been able to keep his wheels alongside Flagg. He'll have the outside line for the Pilatella corner though, and it'll be a brave man who tries it around there. Flag squeezes him on the outside, and Ficacci is forced to submit. And here comes David Hatton. He's got a run on him. Is he going to have a look up the inside of Acqua Minerale? Yes, he is. Opportunistic stuff from David Hatton.
Yeah, there was no contact there. There was millimetres between them, but Ficacci was just put offline. He had to back out, and that gave Hatton the run down the hill. He gets that momentum going through there. He just put it on the inside, and actually Hatton is even already on the back of Flag, just about to take that podium position.
Oh, Sam Watley just getting it a little bit wrong at the Variante Alta, but it's Hatton now making a move on Andy Flag. Pulls out to the outside of Rivazza corner. He's going to have to break deep to get round there, and tucks back in behind him. Flag's going to be tight into Rivazza too, and this is going to be a wonderful opportunity for David Hatton to slipstream his way past, already pulling out before they even get to the timing line. And if he can just keep his wheels alongside. No, he's got to tuck back into the slipstream. Flag's car very quick in a straight line, it seems.
Yeah, but also punches a big hole. Here comes Hatton to the outside of the first chicane.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to make it around the outside. It's going to be all on the brakes. If he can make it work, he can. Fantastic manoeuvre from David Hatton. 2 moves in the space of 1 lap. He's got to hold on to it, though. Flag's coming back at him towards the Villeneuve chicane. And it'll be tough to make it around the outside of there. But Flag doesn't know that. He makes it stick and just gives Hatton a bit of a nudge onto that curb. And once again, it's side-by-side into toes hairpin. Ficacci takes full advantage of it and sends one up the inside of Flag. And that's given Hatton a little bit of breathing space. Flag, I think, is just able to edge out Ficacci on the way into Penatella, and he holds on to the position. Oh, this is great side-by-side action, Chris.
It is, and Flag must be running a very low downforce setup because he's just absolutely smashing it down the straights. But then, you know, when in the corners when they're side by side, I think you said he nudged Hatton. From my view, I think it was just Hatton was giving him plenty of room. I don't think there was any contact.
All right, fair enough. Danny Henney, meanwhile, has made his way up into 7th place. He's got Sam Harper between himself and the battle that we've just been enjoying for 3rd place. So Henny could still come up. I mean, he's done a 42.9 last time round, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the fastest lap of the race. So he's definitely got... Oh, no, Hatton has done a 42.7, but certainly Henny has got the pace to get in with these guys. Just a little bit of lap traffic coming up for the leaders. So Hatton now looking more secure in that 3rd place spot now that he's gapped Andy Flag a little bit with that bit of side-by-side he was having with Ficacci. So now he's going to have his sights set on Ismael Basso in 2nd place, who is 3.3 seconds up the road. Dobitzberger might be out of reach. He's another 5.5 ahead of Basso.
He is, and coming back to the battle between Henny and Harper. Henny just looked to the outside of the first chicane. Couldn't make anything into the second, though, so he's just tucked right up. Let's see if he can... He got a good exit coming up to Tozer. He's on the outside.
Pounce at Tozer, trying to force his way around the outside. And again, you can get good traction on the outside of there, and he is out-dragging Sam Harper at the moment. I doubt Harper will fight this too much on the way into Penatella. Well, he's kept his nose in and tried to go side-by-side through there, but there's no stopping Danny Henney, and he makes his way through into 6th position. So 1 lapped car between himself and Ficacci. 2.5 seconds is the gap. I'm sure we'll see that tumble.
It has tumbled already because I think Ficacci just made a little bit of a mistake there, so he's dropped off the back of Flag, and yeah, he's coming back towards Henny pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane Jordan running very nicely in 8th place at the moment, ahead of Tim Ellis and Sam Watley. Ellis and Watley are actually side-by-side on the way into Rivazza. And is the back marker going to get in the way of that? I think that's Richard Molden in there, but Ellis is ahead for now. There's John Lang right in there as well. This top 11 that we're watching at the moment. And you're right, Ficacci's definitely made some sort of error because he's dropped off 1.7 seconds behind Flag now. And that gap for Henny is now only 1.5 seconds. And actually, Shane Jordan, I said he was running well in 8th place. He might pick up another spot, actually, because he's on the back of Sam Harper, sharpish. Less than half a second between them as they come around the Tosa hairpin. This is going on for 7th position.
He is, and their best time is about a second difference. So you're looking at Jordan just coming up behind Harper here. They're going through, just gone through the Piratella down to Aqua Minerale. There's no room to get through here, though. He's going to have to line him up towards the end of the lap, I think, although he's right tucked up.
Crucially, Jordan did his best lap of the race last time around, 43.7, and that was 1 second quicker than Harper. Now, of course, Harper was being passed by Henny on that last lap, but it's an open invitation. He was sliding his way into Aqua Minerale there on that occasion. Penultimate lap of the race we're on at the moment, so any other changes in position, they've got to come sharpish. Only 1 lap left. So for Henny, it looks like it will be a best of 5th place. And Hatton, he's not closing up that gap quick enough. It's only 2 seconds he's brought it down to. Maybe that 1.8 as they go over the line, but I can't see him closing that in the next lap.
Yeah, the gap from Henny to Ficacci, though, is only 0.7 of a second. So if Ficacci makes any mistakes, then Henny will be right on him. And Ficacci has made a couple this race, so it's not over yet. And as you said, Shane Jordan right next to Harper as well. So there's a good couple of battles going on this final lap.
Yep, battle for 5th and battle for 7th are the ones to watch on this final lap. And Harper, he's checked up a little bit in the middle of the Villeneuve chicane, and that gives Jordan a run around the outside. He's going to get the switch back on him, try and get a better run on the way into Piratella. And he's pulled out of the slipstream, trying to draw alongside. I don't think he's quite got enough to get up the inside of Piratella. He's trying it anyway. Oh, he backed out at the very last second. And that means that Sam Harper is able to hold on to that 7th place for now.
Yeah, that's a very high-speed blind corner at the crest of the hill. You're very brave if you go side by side through there, especially
Absolutely.
if you're not all the way alongside already.
Easy to defend that one, though. Well, not easy, but you can sort of edge your way over to the left and discourage people.
Sorry, Chris. Going back to
Danny Henny,
right next to each other.
Yep, he is absolutely nose to tail, and they're coming into the final braking zone, and Ficacci waves him by, so that's Henny up into 5th place. Meanwhile, Alexander Dovesberger comes across the line and takes the victory in race 2 from pole position. Nobody could get near him in the end, and it's Ishmael Basso who comes across the line in 2nd place, and David Hatton 3rd. Andy Flagg about to come across the line in 4th, and Danny Henny in 5th place. I think that's just going to be enough for him to retain his championship lead, despite a spin after contact with Steve Ficacci earlier in the race. And Ficacci there in 6th place. Sam Harper, he did manage to fend off Shane Jordan for that 7th place spot. Tim Ellis got 9th, and John Lang was your top 10.
He did. Harper only managed to fend him off, though, by 0.008 of a second. They were just about side by side across the line. It was cracking to watch.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
I don't know about you, Chris, but I thoroughly enjoyed that second race.
It was
forward to the 3rd.
Very good. Just looking a little bit further down the order to get your reverse grid poll, I think we're going to be looking at John Cox for reverse grid poll, but I'll confirm that in a bit. Meanwhile, should we see if we can drag some drivers in?
Sure. Who should we go for this time? Should we go for... there's a whole load of people on. Yeah. Why don't we go for Steve Ficacci? Let's see if we can get him in here. Steve, you're on the air. How did that race go for you? We were watching you a lot through there. You had some incidents and some action.
Got to hold my button. It went well. I had an issue early on where I think I cut off Danny Henny, which was a total accident. Ishmael had a run on me going to the second to last corner, and I was going to let him through just because he had the position. There was another car there, which I wasn't expecting, and I was going to fall in behind the second car, and Danny, I didn't see him in my mirror, so when I went for the apex, he was there, and I don't think he hit me at all, but I know I screwed him up, so I let him by there at the end. Had a good run with Andy Flagg, I think it was. At one point, I thought I had a little more pace than him, but you know, he was able to pull away from me once he was able to get in front of me. So it was probably just the draft making me think I had some speed for him. But all in all, not a bad race.
Fantastic. We thoroughly enjoyed watching it. Thank you very much, Steve, and we will see good luck in the third race for you.
Thank you.
So just had a look at the timing. I make it Kyle Power on reverse grid pole. So that's certainly going to be an interesting one to watch. That gives him a great chance of victory in what will be our only reverse grid race of the night now. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Race 3 coming your way soon.
I can hear engine noises, but no comms.
Thanks, Rick.
So coming to the third race of the evening, Chris, where do you see this one heading?
I'm not sure. We haven't had a look to see where some of our other contenders are. So we know that Hatton will be starting in 18th place ahead of Basso and Dobitzberger as the top three. And Henny should be there in 16th place. But we haven't quite figured out the middle bit yet. So there should be some quick guys in there. Obviously, it's going to come down to who can cleanly make their way through the field. Henny started behind Hatton in that previous race, but he was ahead of him by the time they got out of the first corner. So that's going to be critical, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And that first chicane, there was some action and some contact there in the second race. I really hope that they keep it clean as we go to the grid.
Yep, we can give you the grid now as they are lining up for race 3. So it will be Conor Meyer on pole position ahead of John Cox and Adam Rosales. That'll be your top 3. Then we got Barry Kemp in 4th place, Brian Boomsma in 5th. You'll see him, he's orange and black, hard to miss him. Alex Drillsma in 6th place. A little bit of redemption, I think, because he's had a bit of a scruffy night so far. Lucas Raskovic in 7th, Colin Ward in that very smart Rothmans Williams car, number 92, he starts 8th. Stephen Williams, you'll notice him with the Prema colours. He'll be 9th on the grid. Sam Watley in 10th. And then we've got Tim Ellis, a very quick car in the all green. He's starting in 12th place. Danny Henny 16th, as we mentioned. David Hatton 18th. And our race 2 winner, Alexander Dobitzberger, starting in 20th place. We have got some other quick guys, but we'll keep an eye on them as we are away for the start of race 3. And Conor Meyer leads the field away. John Cox immediately tucks into that slipstream and is trying to get the run on him into the Tamburello chicane. Adam Rosales having a look up the inside as well, but he can't find a way through. And it's all action going off. And there goes Brian Boomsma up into 4th place. Colin Ward trying to follow in his footsteps as well. But it all looks pretty clean. Bit of contact at the back of the field. There's James Wingfield involved in that. But up at the front, it looks clean as you like. And Rosales slow off the Villeneuve chicane. Open door for Brian Boomsma to make his way into the podium.
Sorry, Chris. He dropped it all by himself as he did a... He just, as he got out of the Villeneuve chicane, he just put too much power on and ended up in the wall. He is back on the track, though, but he's miles down the grid.
Meanwhile, John Cox has moved into the lead of the race, got past Conor Meyer on the way into Piratella, and Boomsma did make his way into 3rd place on the outside of Tosa. But drama for Danny Henny on the opening lap. We said he'd been edgy on these opening laps. He said he nearly dropped it in race 1 himself, and he's done himself no favours here by dropping it in race 2. Critically, David Hatton has gotten away cleanly, but I don't see him on my timing anymore, actually. He's 14th. So he hasn't made up that much progress, but I think you can confirm he is actually away and undamaged.
Yes, I think so. I'm struggling to see it myself, Chris, but yeah. So Danny, he did an Albon actually. Yeah, he just he was just too keen to get on the power on cold tyres and just put him round.
At the front of the field for 2nd place, it is all kicking off. Boomsma trying to get past Conor Meyer, Rosales, Kemp, Drillsma, all squabbling for track position as they come barreling back towards the Tamburello chicane. And it's Boomsma who comes out on top as he gets his way into 2nd place. Ward trying to follow in his footsteps. He's through as well. By the time they come out, Meyer is dropping like a stone at the moment. Look at the queue of cars all making their way past him as they come back towards the Villeneuve chicane. He's been able to hold on for now. There's John Lang and Stephen Williams side by side. Lang got ahead, and now Williams coming back at him on the outside of Tosa, and Lang getting a little squeeze there, I think, as he got very, very close to the back of Alex Drillsma's car. And he's been able to hang on to that place, actually, because Williams gets squeezed up towards the grass. Rosales up the inside of Meyer now and goes through. Drillsma tries to follow him, and there's carnage down at Piratella as Conor Meyer and Alex Drillsma are off. And I think Stephen Williams, he was close. I think he got away with it. Actually, it's John Lang with front wing damage. I think he got caught up in that. And Rosales got a... No, it was Shane Jordan getting a nudge at the second apex of Aqua Minerale. And David Hatton we see there just coming through as well. So drama down at Peratella and all action for second place.
Yeah, there was a bit of red mist descending there for Drillsma. I think he tried to follow the car in front through as he passed Maya, and then the door was firmly shut, but there was never going to be anybody going through there, I'm afraid.
So John Cox, it is leading the way ahead of Brian Boomsma, but not by much. It's very close as they start that 3. Boomsma might be about to take the lead of a race for the first time in the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge. Of course, this is only his second event, but he is very known in the officials. Race against him every Wednesday, and he's a very quick driver, and he's forcing Cox to go defensive into the Villeneuve chicane. Doesn't look around the outside of there. I think he's just going to pick his moment because he is hounding the back of Cox's car and looking up the inside of the Tosa hairpin, forces Cox out wide. And is he going to be able to get the run he needs? Not quite. Can't draw an overlap on the run into Peratella. Still absolutely nose to tail as they come through the left-hander. Only a third of the way through this race, or not even that just yet. And Cox a little bit slow off the corner. Still having to go defensive as they go into Aqua Minerale. We'll see what kind of a run Boomsma can get up the hill. We can have a look at him into the Variante Alta. As I said, it's a very short braking zone, so it's very hard to try and lunge someone in there.
We hit the curve a bit hard there, so he's paused himself wide. So we've got Boomsma. Is he going to make it down into the Rivazza here? He's lining him up. Is he going to go to the outside or the inside, Chris?
Well, Cox moves towards that inside line. No way through that. Oh, he's got a bit wide though. That could be an open door for Boomsma. Sure, he's going to have a great slipstream coming down the Variante Bassa onto the pit straight.
If anything, Boomsma was a little bit close, had to check up himself, but now he's tucked right underneath in the slipstream. Here he comes into the first chicane.
Yep, and he pulls out towards the outside. What's he got under braking? He's going to have to make it the long way around. Williams and Rosales side by side behind them, but Boomsma it is, making his way around the outside of the Tamburello chicane and into the lead of race 3.
That was a valiant defence there from Cox, but he nearly gave it all away as he hit the inside curb, just trying to keep his nose in.
It's so easy to just understeer into the car that's passing you at that point. And so well held for Cox. He's not giving up though. He's looking every which way he can for a way back past Boomsma. So we'll see how that unravels. Meanwhile, it was Williams who made a move on Rosales at the same time as the lead was changing for 4th place. Update on the championship challengers. David Hatton up into 8th place at the moment. Dobertsberger 14th, and I'm not seeing Henny anywhere.
I've got him down in about 24th place. No, actually, sorry, it's just updating again.
I've got him down in 26th. Although it is going around a little bit, so we'll update you a little bit later. Now, coming back onto the pit straight, has John Cox got a rebuttal for Brian Boomsma for the lead of this race? Meanwhile, Colin Ward and Stephen Williams very close for the final spot on the podium. But we're going to watch the leaders as they come down the pit straight, and I don't think Cox has quite got the run he needs to challenge Boomsma on the way into Tamburello. Yep, not close enough as they get on the anchors. And nor was Williams to the back of Colin Ward's car. So 2 very distinct battles going on at the head of the field at the moment. And Stephen Williams. I'm just going to check my stat sheet at the moment. And I think this would be a maiden podium for Williams if he can make his way past Colin Ward. He's only... and he dodged up the inside towards Tosa hairpin. And Ward has to give him some space. Ward should get the better run out of the corner with that wider line. And Williams unable to make the move stick on this one. He's got to be careful because Rosales could come back past him. But as I was saying, yeah, Williams only done the Nürburgring event. And, oh, is that Boomsma? That's Boomsma who's gone off from the lead of the race. He's spun it, and I think he's gone into the barriers because he's got no front wing. So from the lead of the race, Brian Boomsma has dropped it. Was there contact with John Cox, or did he drop it on his own?
Just checking the replay, Chris. It looked like he got a little wide at the Piratella, got on the AstroTurf on the outside, and then spun all the way back on the inside, and then took his nose off there. Did about a 1080 spin, but then got going again. So he's down his feet, no front wing, as you say. So he's going to be really struggling to hold on to that position to the end of the race.
He's going to be back to the pit, surely. I mean, that's heartbreaking for Brian Boomsma. Meanwhile, while all that was kicking off, Stephen Williams has got past Colin Ward for what is now second place. So, and I would say this would be his first podium in the Formula Renault Challenge. So, a great result in prospects for Stephen Williams, as Rosales now wants to get himself onto the podium, slipstreaming his way past Colin Ward and up into third place. Williams, I wonder if he's quick enough to challenge John Cox for the lead of this race. We've got 4 laps to go, including this one, and that gap is 1.9 seconds. I think we should keep a very close eye on the lap times, because even though he was pulling that move on that lap, he was only a 10th slower, and his best lap of the race is 9/10 quicker than Cox. So absolutely one to watch in the closing stages of this race. Meanwhile, down in 7th place, we've got David Hatton looking at the back of Shane Jordan for 6th place. Hatton's been coming up through the order and is going to take a big chunk out of Danny Henney's lead today. And every point he can muster will be absolutely worth it. So we'll see if he can make his way past. Joining this podium group, coming down towards the Variante Alta. And Ward there getting a little wide at that chicane. And that's put Tim Ellis on his tail now. So could be 4th place for Tim Ellis soon.
You've got a feel for Ward there, because as Boomsma came spearing back onto the circuit, he had to put on the anchors pretty heavily, and that let Williams and Rosales straight past, unfortunately. And as you say, now he's under pressure from Ellis behind. Williams now only half a second behind the lead, so I think this is going to really hot up towards the end of the race in the last couple of laps as we head into the first chicane.
Could be striking distance within a lap. Meanwhile, Ward and Rosales side by side into Tamburello, and Ellis looking to pounce on that. So it's actually Ward getting back up into 3rd place. It is Rosales very much under pressure, and there's David Hatton waiting in the wings. He has got past Shane Jordan, and round the outside, Ward and Ellis gets squeezed up. Oh, was there a bit of contact there? And David Hatton shows his nose very quickly, has to get out of it, because otherwise he's a big risk of contact. This is a great squabble going on. Always Hatton slowed up a little bit too much of the Tosa hairpin, because Shane Jordan trying to make his way back past. Can't do anything with it on the run into Piratella. Just going to draw your attention to the front of the field. Stephen Williams is right with John Cox as they power their way back up the hill towards the top at the Variante Alta. No way through on the brakes there for Stephen Williams. But can he make a move into Ravazza? He'll certainly be lining him up for a move down the straight and into Tamburello.
Either way, Chris, it looks like we're going to get a maiden victor here if these two can keep it clean.
Absolutely. Cox locking up on the way into Ravazza, and Williams surely is going to have a great opportunity to slipstream his way past and into the lead of the race for the first time. And there he goes, pulls out to the outside, and Cox has got nothing in his armoury to defend against that, unless he can keep his nose alongside and jam it back up the inside into Tamburello corner. Absolutely side by side as they come down towards the chicane, and it looked like Williams had braked deep, but Cox managed to brake even deeper, and he holds on to the lead.
He's putting up a very robust defence here. He's having to go to the inside, checks him up. Williams got nothing for him there. He's going to have to try and line him up into the Tosa.
Great exit out of Villeneuve. Cox again goes defensive on the way into Tosa. Can't make it around the outside. Going to try and line him up on the exit. Meanwhile, Tim Ellis is up into third place, but our eyes are on this battle for the lead. And once again, Williams has got the run to draw alongside. And is he going to try and make it round the outside of Piratella? No way through. Cuts back inside again, and he has drawn alongside. Is he going to be able to draw clear at Aqua Minerale? Yes, he is. Stephen Williams leads at Imola.
That was a great move. He managed to put Cox under pressure, and he just misjudges braking slightly and got up on the outside of the AstroTurf again. Cox, I don't think is done here though, Chris.
Cox has been putting up a fantastic defence, putting his car in all the right places. Can he pounce back on Stephen Williams? He's pulled out towards the outside, and they're going to go side by side into reverse corner. They make contact, and Cox is off the road. And I think Williams has just about gotten away with it, though, crucially. And he's still going. A little bit of a kick from the back end, but I think his car is undamaged. But Cox, his race has ended in the gravel.
I think that was very unfortunate. There was just a little bit of drifting from both drivers towards each other. And yeah, unfortunately for him, he's just gone straight off. He's back down to P9 now. So Steve Williams, good 3.5 seconds in the lead on the final lap.
So Tim Ellis, with 1 lap to go, in second place. David Hatton's just moved his way up into third ahead of Rosales on the way into the Tamburello chicane. So Hatton here, he can make it 3 podiums out of 3, just as Henny did at the Nürburgring. But he wants second place from Tim Ellis, and there's no way through for him at the Villeneuve chicane. Got to be careful making that move, because here comes Rosales. He wants a spot on the podium as well. One of these 3 drivers is going to end up bitterly disappointed, and Rosales almost drops it in his eagerness to get on the power and get past David Hatton. That's cost him momentum. He's almost a second. He is a second behind these 2 now. So all eyes on Hatton and Ellis for second place. Only half a lap to go. Only a couple of braking zones left. We're talking the top chicane and down into Ravazza. Is there any way through for David Hatton Ellis? He knows how to defend a position, and he will be doing absolutely that in this battle for second place. No way through to catch Stephen Williams, 3.3 seconds up the road. And one last opportunity for David Hatton. He pulls out to the outside on the run into the Ravazza, and he's going to try and force his way round. Can he do it? Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. Fantastic manoeuvre for second place. But but Ellis has got the run on him. Up ahead, Stephen Williams takes his first missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge victory. It's side by side though for second place between Hatton and Ellis, and had just picked him to it, just by 0.02 of a second. Fantastic! What an end to the night.
Oh, that was absolutely stunning. That was a wonderful move there, just round the outside, gave him just enough room. And as they say, they came side by side across the line. What a finish, Chris.
That's just stunning. Oh, what a day for Stephen Williams as well. I'm so happy for him. He's like one of the nicest guys you'll meet in the Missed Apex community. Not that any of them aren't, but that's just fantastic. And Hatton, once again, for never say die. That's just fantastic. So 3 podiums out of 3 for the night. I think that that has, in fact, drawn him level with Danny Henny for the most podiums in the Formula Renault Challenge. They sit at 13 apiece.
And speaking of our brand new race winner, we've got Steve Williams in the commentary box. Steve, how did that go for you? That was pretty intense.
Yeah, that was a really good race. I'm not too sure what happened with John, if there was contact. It didn't feel like it from my side. But I hope him if we did contact.
From what I could see, there was a bit of a net code there. It was very, very close. I think there was just a bit of drifting, but it was a brilliant battle between you two. We thoroughly enjoyed watching it. How does it feel winning your first race?
Happy with that. I think we're 8th on the grid or something, so good progress, good fun coming through the field. Yeah,
that was fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us, and look forward to the fun race. I'll watch you there. Thanks, Steve.
Cheers, thank you.
11th different winner in the Formula Renault Challenge is Stephen Williams. And certainly, I think 17th podium finisher. I'll have to count them up in a second. Man, what an end to the night. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Chris is going to take you through the fun race in a few minutes. But from me and for the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge, that is all for tonight. So thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for pardoning the technical issues we have had today. These things happen, but we know our technical team is doing their absolute best, and they are the absolute best, and we're nothing without them. So thank you very much, guys, and thank you very much for joining us. Chris, you're about to take us through the fun race. Any hints as to what that's going to be?
It's definitely going to be fun. It's going to be a multi-class event at the whatever it is, the Tsukuba circuit.
Tsukuba,
that's the one.
That's
yes,
the one.
It's yet another oval with some Formula 3s and some MX5s, so don't miss it.
Great. That sounds like an absolute blast. Well, thanks again for joining us, guys, and we'll see you at the next round. Bye-bye.
we've had a fantastic evening of racing from the Imola circuit. But if you thought there was drama in that race 3 at the end, you just wait until the fun race this evening. We are coming to you live from the Tsukuba circuit, the 1,000 meter oval configuration. And the fantastic part about this is that we have 2 car classes this evening, the Formula 3 and the Mazda MX-5 Cup. We also have damage on, and these guys have got the updated damage model, so you'll see wheels flying about all over the place and bits exploding as they crash into each other. And without further ado, let's head to the race. No fiddling around here. These guys mean business. So there are 2 car classes with points available in each class. So it is all to play for today. We are just loading up the grid. I think we have Colton Myers in P1 with Gregory Leader in 2nd, with Harrison 3rd and Derbertsberger in 4th. I'm fully expecting another evening of carnage. I think the very small session of practice has allowed the Formula 3 cars to line up towards the front, and then you've got a mixture towards the back of those who didn't quite get a time in. This could get very, very interesting very quickly. So, like I said, they do have damage on, but they can return to the pits and get unlimited, very quick repairs. So if you can crawl back to the pits with the damage that you've got, then you're all set. It's a very old school circuit, this one, with the hay bales around the side. It's quite picturesque. Quite a nice little circuit we've got here. There is a bit of room to overtake on, although I'm pretty sure that as the speeds these guys are getting up to, they're not going to find it very easy at all. Now, I may appear to be alone, but let's see what we can do. I'm going to bring somebody like Spanners very quickly into the commentary, just 30 seconds to the start. This looks a bit entertaining, doesn't it?
So there is a bit of a pact between the MX-5 drivers that we see no reason why the F3s should be allowed through easily at all. So we are going to have a wall of MX-5s, Catman.
Excellent. There's going to be explosions galore with wheels flying everywhere. Enjoy the race, Spanners. I will talk to you later.
Bring me in anytime, mate.
I will. Okay, and here we go. We're going for the lights. We have Gregory Leader on pole with Harrison at the beginning. Red lights are on. Revs rise. And away we go. Harrison gets a slightly slow start. We've got Leader on the outside into the first corner. They managed to just about get through there with contact, without any contact. And my timing screens have gone a little bit funny, so I'm struggling to be able to bring it to you. But we still have Harrison in the lead there. It's not going to be long before these guys do catch up, however, with the back of the MX-5s. So watch out for some carnage here. In fact, as I say that, they are just exiting the corner and the Formula 3s are already coming out. So this is going to be very interesting. Dive to the inside. And they don't quite shut the door. There's going to be so much carnage here. These guys are going to have to thread their way through very quickly because the speed differential is massive. So Harrison still is able to keep that car in the lead. But there's car spearing across in front of him. How did he make it through that? That was very reminiscent of some of those films where they just aim for the dust and just power through. There we go. So Harrison still leads, and actually up behind him we've got David Hatton, fast in anything with 4 wheels. He is making his way through the field. He's catching up with Harrison at a vast rate of knots as they're coming through the pack here. And he gets a little tag from one of the MX-5s as he goes past, but no damage done there. And there seem to be cars flying absolutely everywhere, which way, upside down, inside out. Here we go. So Hatton is in the lead because, as far as I can see, I believe our previous leader Harrison has had a bit of an incident. Was caught up in that, but I think he went backwards. So we've got Harrison followed by Ellis. Oh, I say that Hatton also got caught up in an incident there, but I think he's managed to keep it on the road. We've got Hatton and Ellis together, and here comes Danny Henney in the Prema liveried car. See what he can do catching up with those two. Hatton made a bit of a lock up there. Ellis is coming right up behind him as they're catching up with the MX-5s. Ellis makes a little bit of a look there, but there's nothing doing so far. There's not a lot of slipstreaming room here because they don't get to... The straights are not very long at all. And Hatton's got checked up by one of the MX-5s. Ellis couldn't make advantage of it this time round. They're coming up to yet more back markers, and the MX-5 just turns in. Hatton is right there. He still managed to get past, though. Ellis had to check up, though, because he got the door firmly slammed in his face. So he has got a little gap formed there. Hatton with the lock up. It's very easy to lock up here because the inside wheel just snags very quickly. And Henny is looming in the background. Just behind Ellis there. So here they come again. This must be so tricky to find a gap. Oh, and Hatton has been taken out of the lead. There it is. There was that instant we were looking for. So he got tagged as he went past. So now we have Ellis in the lead, and there is a complete carnage. Henny has been taken out as well. And yeah, oh, there's cars all over the place. There's just a wall of smoke and debris and bits of sidepod. Henny is still backwards, trying to get the right way round. Hatton, believe it or not, is still going round. If we take a look at him, with just one wheel just dangling off. So there he goes. Now he makes his way into the pits. So who have we got? We've still got Ellis in the lead. Ellis somehow has managed to keep his nose clean through all of that. No damage on his car. And that's going to give him quite a advantage here. So we've got Ellis followed by, I believe it's Watley next. A good half lap behind with Stephen Williams. Let's go to that battle now because Steve Williams is right behind Watley. Williams also in a Prema coloured car. There appears to be one of the MX-5s upside down in the background, but that's now gone. So yes, we've got Williams all over the back of Watley, seeing if he can make a move, see if he can use the traffic to his advantage. There's a very slow yellow car in front. Williams faintens to the inside, nothing doing there. But Watley's got checked up on the outside behind that blue and white Mazda. And is that going to give Williams an opportunity to the inside? No, not this time around. He's going to make a lunge for it. Oh, he has to back out because he would have got his nose taken off there. You see lots of other cars just trailing to the pits. I think that is Wingfield going around with very little. Oh, and he's taken he's taken Williams out. That looked like a very deliberate move. So yeah, so that is him gone. So where have we got to now? We've got Ellis, who is a good lap in the lead ahead of anybody else. Surely that's not going to last for long as somebody finds out and takes him out of there. Let's see if we can bring Spanners back in now. Well, this is fun. Spanners, I was actually getting into my groove there. There's some quite good racing going on.
Right, okay, so I was surprised that you joined me. There was some big flame wars going on between the guys who chose an F3 and the guys who chose an MX-5. So basically the MX-5 drivers are calling F3 guys basically cowards for picking that car. And the F3 guys are furious because the MX-5s have decided that it doesn't matter if you hit an F3.
Excellent. Yeah, although I did see some of the F3 drivers who were driving around with no bits on their car, taking out their fellow racers. So this has turned into absolute carnage, and it is wonderful to watch.
It's insane, and you've got fast repairs, and I'm not sure how many people are on the lead lap, but I decided I'm winning. So in line with
on the lead lap.
Oh, really? In line with current politics, though, I've decided I'm winning.
Oh, okay, of course, absolutely. Yeah, you just declare the result now. It's absolutely fine.
Oh, this is great fun. I hope you're following it in some way. Do you know how I'm doing amongst the MX-5 drivers?
Oh, now you're asking. So, Banners, my tummy screen is just bouncing up and down. You're doing, I would say, as well as Trump did.
Oh, dear.
You are in P28, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you're not doing very well. There's about 10.
You're about 10 or 11th in your class.
Okay, but I tell you what, these MX-5s stand up to damage.
Apparently.
More than others. I suggest getting Carl Power into the commentary booth because he's getting triggered every time an MX-5 takes him out.
Excellent. Yeah, I was quite scared of him, but let's do that. Now we'll see.
Do it.
Where is he? Kyle. Let's get you in here. Let's see. I apologise in advance if there's any swearing. Kyle, it sounds like you're having some fun.
Just oh man, just can't do a lap without somebody smashing into me.
Well, people are flying
very close to having a sense of humour failure.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's a wonderful event, though. So you, yes, I do think that the damage model is being shown off particularly well here, I must say.
Oh, it's fantastic. It looks very good. Oh, it's just let me out of the pits. Hey, here we go. Let's see if it gets some more damage.
Too far ahead of me. Should I take
good part is?
Go on, man, take you out.
I just want to do one lap. I just want to survive one lap, please.
Oh, come on, Spanners, get him, get him, get him.
No, he's too fast. But it's amazing because when you think of multi-class driving, you know, Bradley Philpott has told us a lot about what it's like with faster cars coming through. But all I feel is rage every time they easily overtake me.
Yeah, these drivers don't like being overtaken, do they?
That's great fun. This is probably one of the highlights of the night. It's just fantastic. These crazy races. Well, I've done one lap. Yes, I'm happy.
By the way, do we all agree though that Richard Malden, who chooses the format of these fun races, is a sadist who should be? I don't know. I think we should do something about it before he enters politics.
He's unhinged, but I think this is the best one we've had so far. I'm absolutely loving this circuit. This combination of cars is just brilliant.
Brilliant. Absolute carnage.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, guys. I will head you back into a bit of fun. I will grab some other people in. So, just to update you on the leaderboard, we have David Hatton, who is in the lead now. We must have had a bit of an issue for Ellis, but in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't really matter. So, let's get Trumpets. You are on the air. How are you finding things?
Fairly entertaining at the moment.
Yes. So, remind us, what car are you in?
I'm in an F3.
Excellent. How many times have you been taken out?
7 or 8.
Oh, it's absolutely
I'm
brilliant.
getting cannier about it, though.
Yeah, this is it.
MX-5 definitively had a strategy of just taking us all out.
They're quite wide as well, aren't they? And they're doing a good job. Oh, and as we say it, there you go. There's only one wheel left on your wagon. This is fantastic. Well, thank you, Trumpets.
Just a bit of damage.
Yeah, it's
just a flesh wound.
Absolutely, yeah. You could be like the Black Knight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. So let's have a look. This is just absolutely amazing. So we actually have a battle developing again at the front. So we have David Hatton being chased down, with the loosest sense of the word, by Alexander Dermitsberg. He's only 6 seconds behind. Those are the only two on the lead lap, but it does change very quickly. Let's see if we can distract David Hatton by chatting to him. So, David, you're on the air, and you appear to be in the lead. How has that happened? Well, we'll come back to him if he's probably concentrating massively hard on the circuit there, because it's got to be very tricky to be able to get yourself in and out of those cars. So I'll leave you to it. And as I say, Dermitsberger has just had a bit of an incident, so he is now no longer in second place. We are following Colin Ward now, or it should be Colin Ward. Yep, oh, Colin Ward, no, he is in third place, but he is also missing the rear wing off of that wonderful Williams, and from the incident you just saw there, you can see why. Definitely just got turned around. He's not taking any time to go in the pits to change it, though. And I apologise if you get any disruption there. My TV or my monitor was just about to turn itself off for being idle for too long. We wouldn't have wanted that, because commentating on this is hard enough at the best of times. David Hatton just got launched skyward by Colin Ward, so he was lapping third place, and somehow he managed to keep it pointing on the straight and narrow whilst going for a little bit of a fly, so that was entertaining. Yeah, so we got Hatton. Let's see who's in the lead of the MX-5 class, although I'm not entirely sure that they are taking it terribly seriously. In fact, it would be it'd be Jack Weddle or possibly Rosales. I have no idea who is in the lead of that class. We'll just have to wing it. I'm going for Rosales. He is facing backwards and is just about to take out about a few. Oh no, he hasn't taken them out. He was very gentlemanly there. He could have easily just kind of lampooned some of the cars coming through, one of which was David Hatton. Yes, we've got Mark Green out. It's just behind him in the very interestingly liveried Missed Apex car. Not that you can see much of that left. He's got some McLaren stuff, and he went upside down nearly into the wall there. No idea who's in that group, but there's a lot of. He seems to be doing donuts on the start-finish straight. This is more akin to rallycross than normal circuit racing, but we don't mind. Hatton just took a detour onto the grass trying to get around somebody. He's still going remarkably well. He's now 2 laps in the lead, and has all the bits left on his car. Let's see Dubitzberger in P3 because he's going into the pits. Yes, he got damage there, so he's going to drop down the order a bit. Drillsma now comes up into 3rd position. I don't think he's going to get overtaken by Stephen Williams though, because Williams is 6 laps behind the leader, whereas Dubitzberger is now only 4 behind. So yes, there's some changes going on there. More cars in the barriers. Yeah, so Drillsma in P3, a couple laps behind Ward. Colin Ward doing remarkably well today. He did very well at Imola, and he's scything his way through the pack. In fact, he might be making up some time on David Hatton, because now he's only 1 lap behind. David Hatton getting caught up in a little bit of traffic there. He's just on the cusp of overtaking a few of the MX-5s, including the class leader. Let's see, he darts to the inside. All nice and clean there. Just don't look behind him. Definitely looking clean. And I believe there are only 50 seconds of the race remaining, which, interestingly, is about 3 laps still. So we've still got a bit of action to go. Hatton has got to really just keep it nice and clean these last couple of laps. Although there's cars going off all over the place in front of him, he's done remarkably well. Reflexes of a Chihuahua here. Let's not call it a cat because it's not been that good. He's had a couple of incidents, so a Chihuahua, we'll call it that one. And that's coming from a veterinary surgeon. So there you go. Hatton diving to the inside again. He's only got a couple laps. Oh, and I say he was going to keep it clean, but he's got rammed into by a couple of cars, but somehow he's getting his wheels back on. So I may be talking to you from the void because our wonderful Steve Amy, his computer has crashed. So there may not be anything actually being recorded here. So we'll just see. Again on the inside. Hatton avoiding the carnage all over the place here. And I think he's getting very close to taking his win this evening. I'm going to bring a friend back in. I've got a friend. Hello, Spanners. Oh, I don't have any friends. That's a shame. So we are, yeah, Spanners was doing quite well. Actually, he's coming up the field in his class. He's now in P22 overall.
22?
Overall. So it's probably still about 10 in your class. But
so Fakachi was above me, and I tried to make him spin, and then I let him know that I had definitely done that, which is quite different to the normal racing etiquette we run at Missed Apex, Catman.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. If you have an incident, it's definitely not your fault, right?
No. You were ahead of me, and I needed to lap you, so I spun you off so that you'd have to pit.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Oh no, someone came the wrong way. That was a revenge attack. I just got that was Andy Flagg. He did that on purpose.
Brilliant.
Okay. Ow.
Is that the end of the race, I think?
I think that might be.
Who knows? Who knows?
I hope.
This is you know what? I think we've had a wonderful evening's worth of racing. You know, technical hitches aside, it's been absolutely phenomenal.
I tell you what, Catman, we are not at our best when things are easy. We are at our best when we are tested. We were tested today between races 1 and 2, and I think we all did fantastically. Hopefully, we'll get a nice highlights package out of this. and people who are watching appreciated what we're trying to do. We will get better and better. We have lots of plans ahead, including video. I want to put the commentators under pressure with some kind of, Catman, between like sporting events in the halftime, and they have to do punditry with their faces on screen. That's what I want from you and Stevens.
That sounds good. Do you mean I have to put some clothes on for the next one? Then?
And some makeup, and please, please, please take off that wig.
I shall do. I'll just wear my helmet next time, so I have to just so you can't see my face.
Wrap it up. Put me back in with the drivers and say goodbye to the viewers. Thank you, Catman.
No problem, Spanners. I've had a wonderful evening commentating on this fantastic event that we've had here. Even the fun race, it's all a bit of a good laugh, isn't it? This has been Catman and Chris Stevens from Imola and from Tsukuba. Enjoy the rest of your evening.